Welcome to Morning Glory Farmstead. My name is Lolly, and this channel is all about gardening, animals, and nature. All right, you guys, the flowers are blooming, the butterflies are still out in full force, and so are the hummingbirds and all the other birds, and things are just beautiful right now. So vibrant and full of color. And at the same time, there's parts of my grass that are starting to turn brown. I'm watching leaves fall from the trees in some of the neighborhoods. And so that fall is right around the corner. I started thinking about what I'd like to eat in an early fall garden. And I've decided on a few things that I'm going to show you in just a few minutes. I am just loving all of these flowers. Look at these colors. Pops is going to come over in a few minutes and help me get started on this early fall GreenStalk garden, and we'll see how much we can get done this morning. It is a hot, muggy day already, so we're trying to get an early start. These sunflowers are so big, I think next year I'm going to create some supports for these. Canna lilies are out and absolutely gorgeous. Look at that volunteer sunflower. How gorgeous is that? I got a lot of those up by the front porch. All right, so Pops is cutting down some branches because it's so hot and there's no shade on the GreenStalk Garden patio. We're going to actually take those tiers down underneath this little tree. That tree is pretty young, but it's just now big enough to offer some shade. So he cut a few branches. We're going to let the dogs out, and we're going to go to town on this garden underneath that tree and stay in the shade this time. Now, a lot of times I'll take things out, I amend the soil, but because we did that the other day and it was excruciatingly hot, today we're going to take the easy route. We're going to dump everything out of those GreenStalk tiers and just fill it up with a new Carolina Gold potting mix that I've always used, that I absolutely love. And in fact, I'm not even going to put any worm castings on it because I don't usually do that with a new potting mix until several weeks in. And so hopefully today is going to go smoothly. So we shall see. A never-ending chase every time Sadie tries to chase Donka. Every single time. Never quite catches up to her. Donka runs like the wind. If you're in a hurry for the GreenStalk content, you can skip ahead to around the 5-minute and 19-second mark. Gonna get the pool filled up a little bit more for the dogs. Now, I may have to go put the little dogs up because sometimes they start getting really hot fast, and then the ones that want to stay out will let stay out. So we kind of let them make that choice. All right, we've already got some action at the pool. Some of them are getting a drink, and Sadie is always the first one to get in there and start splashing around. So Pops is coming with the hose so that we can clean out the water that they drink and then also put some more water in this pool. And George is not going to be near as happy about this because we took the sprayer off and now it's just a boring old hose. Y'all, if you've watched the other videos, you know how much he loves to chase the sprayer. He's not near as hyper with this one, so we've figured out the secret. Now Barge is getting in the pool. And then Sadie, back and forth, in and out. Looks like Fitzy wants to get in there, so I'm going to help him get in there for a minute. Now, later in the video, towards the end, I've got some beautiful time-lapse footage of the moon. I put my camera out there because it was up so high really early, and I thought, well, that's unusual. Let's just kind of see what it does over the next couple hours. And it was just gorgeous. And then I woke up to another surprise in the sky at 6 a.m. the next day, so I'll share that with you, along with some chicken footage and things like that. For those of you that are new to my channel, this is Toby. This is my brother's dog that I've been babysitting, and he has been spoiled rotten. This is where he used to roll around in the dirt, and then we covered it up because we're going to do some planting, but yet he is still trying to find that dirt in there, and he's rolling around in a few pieces of sand. Now, in case y'all didn't know this already, Barge and Sadie are Great Pyrenees Australian Shepherd mix, and I have trained them to do synchronized dance steps in the pool. When I found out how smart they were, I just knew there was no limit to what I could train them to do. I better clarify that that is not the truth in case somebody thinks I really did that. All right, time to get the little ones up in the AC where they can cool off, and we'll let the big dogs stay out if they prefer, and we'll get started. All right, so we have the wheelbarrow here, and we are literally going to dump each tier upside down and just leave it be and put the new Carolina Gold potting mix inside each tier. Now, the plan was just to put the potting mix in immediately. However, as I started dumping these and Pops was dumping them, I noticed some things that I've never seen before. The inside of these tiers had some black and some white stuff. I don't know if it's fungus, mold. I've never seen it before on the inside of my tiers, but I'm not about to put some of my favorite potting mix inside those without giving them a good scrub down. Hopefully that's enough. I'm not going to use any chemicals. Y'all know I do everything organic because I have some major health issues. So we'll just see how it goes. We'll take this scrub brush that I've got and just do our best to get anything that we can see visibly and then rinse it out. So now we need the sprayer because I need that pressure to get it out. And you can see George is going bonkers now. So Dad is trying to hold up the tears while we try to keep it away from George. It was kind of a failure, but we did all right. We finally made it through. Now, to be honest, I think some type of gentle sponge probably would have been a little bit better. These bristles are not too hard, but I don't feel like they cleaned it as well as they could have. So next time I'll get something different, but it's so hot and that was close by. So we're just going to go ahead and use that this time. But it's one of those things where every time you looked at it, you saw a little bit more that you needed to get. And you guys, we also cleaned out those holes in the middle of each tier. And even though I know there was no dirt in them, there are spider webs in some of them because I have a lot of spiders out here in the country. And so we wanted to get those out. And then also on the outside of the tiers, in between the pockets, there were some pretty thick spider webs on a couple of them. So, you know, if you've got to take it out to clean it, go ahead and look for stuff like that and get it off too. Now you can see here, look at all that black stuff. That is not just dirt. That was pretty bad. So it took me a while to scrub this one. This was the worst of all of them. I don't know if it was top, bottom, where it was, if it just happened to be the dirt. If y'all have watched some of my recent videos, you'll see that this season I used several different things. I did use some Carolina Gold, but I also made my own potting mix. I used Miracle Grow. I used a lot of different things. So there's really no way for me to know exactly what that was that I used that caused that to happen. So we're going to fill these all the way to the top. You don't want to pack it down, but you definitely want to just push on the top just a tiny bit because you know it's going to settle. Now, after we did this, I went inside for a few minutes and kind of finalized exactly what I wanted to grow. And I based what I wanted to grow on what I wanted to eat. And I know that sounds silly, but y'all, there's so many people that garden and grow stuff that they don't really like, maybe because they think it's easier to grow or they don't think they have a green thumb or whatever the case, but then you've got something that you don't actually want to eat. So I'm going to experiment as usual and try to grow a few things in the GreenStalk that I never have. So I've got a few different kinds of broccoli and some onions and some different summer squashes, and I will show you those in a few minutes. I wanted to tell you guys that I went to the Farmer's Almanac for my area, and I really didn't go by when the ideal time was to plant things. What I looked at was where they have the last date to plant. So even though they have the ideal times of when you want to start seeds and all these other things, it does say last date to plant. So if you plant it by that final date, you have a pretty good chance that whatever you're growing is going to come to maturity so that you can actually eat it. And so that's what I'm doing. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Next year I'll start it a little bit earlier. I can't grow everything I want at all times. And so that's why I am totally cool with experimenting and doing things outside of the recommendations. And you guys, there's a lot of people that plant later than what is suggested, earlier than what is suggested. You know your area best. You know the climate is changing. And so sometimes we just kind of do what we have to do and hope for the best. And so that's what I'm doing. Just a little side note here. Are y'all noticing how much love we have gotten through this whole process? These dogs are checking on us, making sure we don't need help, making sure that we're feeling good about how things are going. They're just as sweet as they can be. Even inside, they always want to be close. I don't think I have one dog that kind of likes its space or wants to be by itself. All of them want to be around me all the time. Now, Barge and Sadie, if you could just put your feet in there and break that dirt up for me, okay? Good job. You guys are big helpers. Let me get Barge's action. Look at that. Y'all know I train chickens at the window, and I also teach dogs how to break up the soil in the GreenStalk. Now, because they're so good, I may have to start charging by the hour, so if y'all need somebody to help break up your dirt in your garden, just let me know. Okay, on a serious note here, I love this potting mix. I love the way it feels. It's got a lot of moisture in it, but there are some big clumps. And so we're going to just take the shovel and kind of break those up. You don't want anything compact. You don't want anything too clumpy, anything that's going to impede something from coming through the top, your little seedlings popping up, or the roots going down into the bottom. So just make sure that there's nothing too big and clumpy in the way. Now, we had actually filled these really well to the top, but after we broke the potting mix up some and the dogs had stepped in there, some of the stuff settled down a little bit, and so we went ahead and topped them off real quick. Hey, Donka. You have dirt in your mouth.
Okay, we may need to put some more dirt in every one of them.
Yeah, because when you break up the clumps, it settles a little bit.
But look at that. I mean...
Oh, yeah. Those are the big paw prints I was talking about from Barge and Sadie. Yo, Donka wants to help. Dad, don't fall back in that chair. Oh my gosh, look, here comes Buster. Hey, Busty, you want to help? Come on, Busty. He's like, how do I do this? You can put your feet in the dirt, Busty. All right, Buster wants attention. He's sad. Come on, Busty. Huh. I know I've said it in a lot of my videos, but y'all, there is no rushing things around here. Everybody's got to get their love non-stop all day. So it just takes a little while to get stuff done around here. Your clothes. You're such a clean person. And look at your pants, Dad.
Yeah.
And your shirt.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All paws on deck.
Yeah, paws on me. They're the little one now. Yeah, look at...
Huh? All right, Fitzy, show them how it's done.
Huh?
Show them, Fitzy. Get it, Fitzy. All right, so we're going to let all the helpers take a little break, but they're going to be here just in case we need them. We've still got a few of them inside in the AC, and that's where they like it. Everything is feeling pretty good now. It's looking good. We're just going to push it out a little bit. Now, the way this is going to work is we're going to take it back up to the garden patio once we're done with this part.
I'm trying to fill these things up. Hey, don't.
Oh my gosh. Donka did like this too, like she was really doing something. Now, you know, I just told you they were on a break, but you know, Donka's just one of those workers that likes to give 150%. Now, I walked around up front to go get some cardboard to put in the back of Dad's car, and I looked over here and saw this little river and was like, what in the world is going on? I've always wanted a creek, but this isn't exactly what I had in mind. Oh, but y'all, don't think that I didn't stare at that and wish I had a creek, though. I just thought it was so beautiful. Who knows what's in it, but it sure did look clear. It was so pretty. Anyway, I called the fire department to see if they were doing something or if this was an accident. And they weren't really worried about it. Someone said it was probably the city because they had been having some issues with some stuff. And I thought, what do they have issues with? Do y'all know anything about that kind of stuff? Like, why do they just open it to flush it out? What kind of issues does the fire department have? I'm just curious. Anyway, so we're going to put some cardboard in the back of Dad's, I call it the tractor. So we call my Pilot the truck, and I call his car the tractor. I'm living the dream. All right, so anyway, he's going to put the tiers in there. Y'all, it is so hot. I was like, just pull your car up and let's put them in there, and then you could just back it up. And that way you don't have to go back and forth up that hill. So he walked these probably, I don't know, 20 feet across instead of walking them, 25 feet uphill. So, I mean, we didn't save that many feet, but y'all, when you're talking about going uphill on an incline in this heat, after we've been out here so long, it's a nice thing just to be able to back them all up right next to the garden patio. Well, looks like Sadie and George are just waiting to see if Pops is going to give him a ride once he unloads that tractor. I don't know if y'all saw it, but Pops has paw prints on his shirt. That is so funny to me. If y'all know my dad, he's the cleanest person I know, and he's always dressed nice. I know he wears like his work jeans and stuff when he comes out here, but to see him, knowing him my whole life with paw prints on his shirt, that is hilarious. All right, y'all check out what I'm going to be planting in the GreenStalk. I get these from BakerCreek Seeds. Their website is rareseeds.com. No, I am not sponsored by them. I'm not an affiliate, nothing like that. I just love their seeds. I've always used them. They're heirloom seeds, and I've just had great success. Okay, so I've cleaned and I've added the water trays down there. Kind of see right there. And my plan is to do onions on the bottom. And I'm only going to do one tier of onions, even though I have a few different kinds, because I want the majority of this to be the different types of squash and the 3 types of broccoli, because those are the ones that I want to eat the majority of. And since I'm just doing a little bit in each pocket, I want to make sure I have plenty. So I'm going to wet these pockets down really good. Remember, the seeds are just going kind of near the top of the soil. I don't really need deep watering with the water reservoir yet. So I always start out this way with my GreenStalks. I just wet it really good by spraying it down and then plant those seeds. And just a reminder, if you're new to GreenStalks, that they do get much heavier once you add the water. So try to get them in the location where you want to keep them, at least as close as possible. I mean, if you have wheels, that's great, because you can roll it a little bit if you need to. But wet it, make your holes however you want to do it. A lot of times I use kitchen utensils and different things, or you can use your finger. You can do it however you want. So I've gone ahead and put a couple holes in each of these all the way down. That way I can just add my seed, cover it, add my seed, cover it. Because in times past, I have forgotten which ones I've actually put seeds in. And so it helps if I do that and then cover them as I go, so that I don't forget any or add more than I need to certain pockets, things like that. Now, if you're doing leafy greens, you can do 3 holes, but because these are going to be larger, I don't want to put 3 holes. I'm just going to do 2. Okay, so the GreenStalk content stops here. I'm heading into the beautiful footage that I've taken from today and last night, especially with the moon, and I hope you guys enjoy this. That's Pigeon and Belle, very early in the morning. Snugs is taking a nap right next to Bailey Beagle. Can you guys see the red belly on the back of that first feeder? So here was my surprise at 6:30 this morning when I walked out. I was doing all of my chicken chores and it started sprinkling just the tiniest bit, almost a mist, and a rainbow appeared while I was outside. And lastly, I want to leave you with a time lapse of the moon from last night. Thanks for spending some time with me today. I'll see you real soon in the next video, and until then, y'all have a great couple of days. Bye-bye.